Well, today on Nation Window Cleaners Podcast, we're talking all about retention, employee retention, like how to keep employees, how to keep them happy, how to just basically make them stay. So if you're a window cleaner or anybody in a service industry, you have employees or thinking about getting employees, stay tuned to this episode. It's going to be great. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Nation. My name is Jersey, and you are here. If it's your first time here, have a look around. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Lots and lots of episodes. For 8 years, this show's been going on. A lot of content, and some of it's okay. That's my plug. No, go back, watch, listen. There are a few of you, very few of you, that have listened to every episode, and that is mind-boggling to me because I don't even remember recording every episode. There's hundreds and hundreds of hours of podcasts. Hopefully this show helps you, or at least just helps you kind of nerd out and get more into the industry. Either way, I appreciate you being here. First off, I want to give a quick shout out to 3 random but amazing people that ordered through me, and because of these people, among tons of others, I exist in the planet. So thank you to Mason Richens, by the way. What's up? The cool dude himself. Matt Fuller, what's up, man? You're amazing. And Dan Martin, what's up? 3 guys, if you want to buy from me, by the way, I'll get into a shameless plug, as you all know, but I'm a rep for windowcleaner.com. I'll give you my number, and I would love nothing more than that. But we're doing this show. This recording is October. We're just into October, and things are starting to cool down. So what that really means is that we have to figure out how to keep employees, because generally, not even generally, 100% of the time, it's cheaper to keep somebody than to go through the whole hiring process and get somebody else new. And a lot of times people are like, well, I need to have new employees, they need me, I don't need them, that kind of thing. That's absolutely false. I will tell you this. You need an employee more than the employee needs you. You have a small pool of people, even smaller qualified, even smaller awesome and working perfectly in the same personality as what you want for your company. They have everything, anything. They can work anywhere. And the thing is that if they left you right now, they could have another job within a day. You cannot hire somebody new within a day, typically, right? The process is just so much more for us, right? You exist because the employees are doing the work, but you thrive when those employees are great. And it's so much cheaper to keep an employee than to hire a new one. You know that, and I know that, but the problem ends up being is, how do you keep those people? How do you keep them happy, motivated, just into the business? It's a hard business to keep people motivated, especially if you're in a cooler area where you have a lot less in the winter. It's a seasonal job. You have to find somebody who's really kind of into the seasonal thing. And let's be honest, there are a lot of seasonal employees that want to be lawn care people or whatever, that sit on a mower, don't talk to anybody. They're not personal. They're, introverted. They're whatever. We need people that are awesome. And I always say this. If you're going to get one thing, by the way, of my euphemisms, whatever, hire the person, train the position. And that just means you want to find somebody that's awesome, that fits with your company, that fits with your culture, that fits with your personalities, that they're not going to do exactly what you're going to do. They're not clones of you. They're them, but they're awesome. And that's the big thing, right? Is you want to find somebody who is awesome that can do the job. And to be honest, almost anybody can clean windows, right? That's, almost anybody can be, not maybe as fast as you or somebody or whatever, but almost everybody can clean windows eventually. It's the people who stand out that are personal, that people like, the customers fall in love with. They're just talking. They give a good vibe about your company, a good feeling to the customer, a good experience. Those are the people we want to keep. And how do you do that? right? The big thing with retention is that we can't pay $1 million. We just can't. We only make so much with overhead and everything. We should be at about $100 a man hour, something like that. And if you watch the media, I won't get into politics side of it. There's this kind of movement. It's like, well, if they make 100, then, the employees should get 90. Well, that's literally not how business works. I mean, it's just not. You have to buy advertising and insurance and trucks and gear and costs of everything. Like labor costs have to be around that 38% in order to make this whole thing work. The rest of it goes to all those extra things, and there has to be some off to you, and then there has to be some for reinvesting. There has to be money to go around, right? So when you're looking at that, it's like, okay, if you produce at $100 an hour, I could only pay $38 in labor. Now, before you freak out and go, well, that's not what I pay. I'm talking about insurance. I'm talking about taxes and everything that goes with that employee, right? If you pay more than that, you have to have a higher production. The way to have a higher production is to charge more or for them to be faster, right? That's a whole nother show. Not going to get into that. But how do you keep them happy if that's the cap? And I'll tell you, this was an epiphany for me personally when I kind of really, really understood this. But we can't pay $1 million an hour. We just can't. But it's not about pay strictly. And here's what I mean about that, is that if somebody's making a wage, and say we'll use for even numbers $20 an hour, if you're paying $20 an hour, they can make that $20 an hour 100 different places, okay? Yes, some places may pay 25, I get it, but they're gonna get a paycheck, right? Everything that's above and beyond that is what matters. And that is what's focused on. Now, if I get a paycheck and you're like, hey, blah, 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 and I threw some money on a paycheck, oh, cool, my check's bigger than normal. This is not an impact. If I walk up to you and I'm like, hey, you did really awesome, here's a $100 bill, that goes 1,000 times farther than throwing it on a check. Now, talk to your accountant and all that. I get, there's only so many things we can do. But this brings me to my first point in this, and that is bonuses. Like, a bonus is something above and beyond. Like, that piece is so much bigger than anything else. People go, well, you said you can only pay so much. Yeah, that's hourly. But here's the truth, is if somebody goes in and gets me an add-on, if they go to the job or say a customer, their neighbor walks up and they're like, hey, I'm looking for a quote. And they're like, absolutely, let me finish this up. I'll come over. And they talk to them, sell them. Awesome. I didn't do anything. And you're like, well, how are you paying for it? Listen, I am okay paying for marketing and ads. I think you probably are too, to some degree, right? I'm willing to spend X amount a day on Facebook ads. Why would I not, instead of putting it to Facebook, give it to somebody who not only can help close, but gives a person a great experience already? I'm going to spend the money on advertising, no matter where it is, right? Yeah, maybe that customer sees your trucks and they call you and they don't talk to anybody. That's fine too. I don't have to pay out for that. But if you're going to take the time to be amazing and sell something either to somebody else or an upsell, which is its own whole world. I want to increase my average ticket. I want to make more money per stop, right? Say they get done and they look at that and they go, I see that your gutters are clogged or going to be clogged or not flowing right or whatever. The big piece of that is that I bring it up as the employee. If they bring it up and they sell it, they're talking and bidding and closing without you doing anything. I'm absolutely okay with giving them a piece of that. And if you're like, well, yeah, but how much money does that end up kind of paying to them? Here's the piece to this puzzle is that, have you ever done a coupon or, hey, 10% off for new service? they're charging full price. Give that 10% instead of back to the customer, which 10% is like, okay. But if the person sold it, give it to them. It does multiple things. With a bonus program and bonus schedule in general, I'm making the employee happy. I'm just making them happy because they get something. But I'm creating a passion to do that. And here's what I mean by that. Now, remember, it's not about the money most of the time. Now, if you are poor and you're like, dude, I can't pay my bills, it's about the money. Look, let's be honest. But for the typical part like this is, yes, it's about the money, but it's about the win. And here's what I mean. When you have a group of people, say you have a meeting or a whatever, and I make it a big deal that John Smith got this, hey, here's for that clothes, man, crisp $100 bill. Like, now all of a sudden, all the other employees go, whoa, dude, this handed him $100. Like, how do you do that? I just talked to the guy. What? No, he wants to do it, right? Now next week, who's the winner? Who's the winner? Who's the winner? Now it creates this kind of culture of these guys that are kind of like, kind of going after each other a little bit in the sense that they want to be the winner or the biggest one. Now they're having passion in this, and they're having skin in the game, and they're having a reason to do it. If you don't have that, and people are like, well, that's just part of their job. It is. But that's not a part of their job to close. Their job is just to tell people, like, oh, you need an estimate? Okay, cool. It'll be $2.99. If you're interested, just call the office. And in your head, you're going, man, I hope they don't do that. Yeah, I know, but they will, because there's no benefit. They're like, I got to get, my actual job is to get these windows clean. I got to get to the next job. So bonuses create a fun environment. They create a little bit of rivalry, right? Yeah, kind of. And they create a little bit more excitement. Remember, we can only pay per hour so much. But I'm okay spending money on top of that. Because, again, that's on new work. They're only getting that commission when they're bringing in the company new work. And the truth of the matter is it's only on that first cleaning, right? I'm going to have somebody in. You guys know my dentist clothes. I talk about it all the time. But in the dentist clothes, you're getting everybody. I'm talking 95 to 100% of people in every 6 months. It's just the way that it's done. If you haven't seen it, go back. I won't touch on that. I beat that one with like a dead horse. But that's what I'm going to do. So what happens with the next cleaning? I'm making all the profit. It's literally that simple. I'll pay a little bit now to get the customer, cost of acquisition, you know that. But I'm going to keep that customer. Now it's my job to keep that customer. And I will pay those bonuses. What is that really, really doing? It's keeping the employee happy. It's keeping them excited. They can work anywhere. And if you're like, no, these guys suck, you've hired the wrong people. You've messed up. But I have really good employees. And those people are amazing. They could work anywhere, and I'm lucky to have them. I am lucky to have them. I want to make sure that they're as happy as they can be. And what this all really comes down to is if there is more to it. Now, I'll give you the culture part where I have talked about this culture side before, and I'm not anybody, so don't think of it. I'm just a guy that babbles to himself in his office, basically. But my goal was to be the absolute awesomest this place to work. Now, think of remember, and this probably makes me sound old, but do you remember Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory? Like, there's so many people working, right? Do you remember the Google in the 2000s? Like, oh, there's sleeping, they could take. The idea is that if you can make a fun environment, you're going to get more people, and they're going to want to stay. Now, I don't think you should take naps during the day. I don't think that that's a thing. I don't see a benefit to that. Maybe you do. I don't. But what I do see is that in our shop, we had a ping pong table, a stocked refrigerator. Now, our refrigerator also had day drinks and night drinks, if that makes sense. So if guys are at the end of the thing and they want to have a beer or something, cool. I don't drink. That doesn't matter. I don't care about anybody else drinking, but if they wanted it, there was something there. Obviously, they're not going, overboard. We also had accounts with restaurants that we did in barter, and I lost money on them. But guess what? Our guys got free food all the time. Every Friday we'd meet at one place, lunches, whatever. Hey, everybody's on this side of town. Let's meet here. I wanted to have that, right? Even down to the fact that we had, when you'd walk into our third office, which was really quite large, there was a bunch of cubes in there and office people. There was just racks of clothes and apparel and whatever. Now, if you wanted a new hat or a coat or whatever, just grab it. You're going to look better for the company, but I want you to feel good in what you have, right? We're going to do that. I'm going to do everything that I can, even if it's little. Like we went on stuff and I bought sporting tickets. We had a bunch of guys that were really into sports. We had a bunch of guys that were really into paintball. We did things like that or had those just for that. We also had kind of contests and stuff for that. It's like, hey, who's going to do this? We'll get 2 tickets to the Brewers game. Whatever. All these little things can cost money. And you're like, you said you could only pay. Yes, I'm only paying so much. But it's marketing. If I buy them clothes, you're going to have to buy them that anyway, right? If I put Gatorade in the fridge so that every time when they go out, they have their coolers and what is that? That's not bad. We have bags of ice in the freezer. If you wanted to grab a bag, grab a bag. Every week we'd stock back up. These are little things that when they come into the office, it doesn't feel like work, right? If you come in and you're like, hey, I need you to be here earlier. Come on. Where are those like if you're that guy, which none of us think we are. But if you're that guy, you don't go, well, I'm motivating them. No, you're not. You're demotivating them because like this place frickin' sucks to work for. If you don't believe that, there's guys out there making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year that are like, this just isn't for me. I got to get out of here. It's killing me. I'd rather make less money. You know that. So you've just proved your point. It's about being happy. It's about giving them stuff that makes them happy and the job not seem like a job. Hang tight. I got to go into a shameless plug. Here it is. I'm a rep for windowcleaner.com. This is what I do. Obviously, I do this podcast. If you ever got anything out of it, give me a virtual high five. Let me put your order in. My number is 862-312-2026. Some of you think you only need to let me put big orders in. Don't. I want to put every order. Never place an order on your own. Let me put it in. Instead of you going through the process, just text me and I'll go through the process for you. Not only will I make sure you get a free gift, make sure you get everything, make sure fitment's there. I want to be your guy. Make it super, 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 super easy. And I get credit for it. And it costs you not 1 penny extra. Literally. It's the same price if you do it and go through all that. Or if you just text me and be like, yo, it's good. My cart's saved. And I go through all that for you. It is not a bother. This is literally how I make money. So in order for me to exist in the world, that's what I have to do. So 862-312-2026. By the way, if you got your phone, if you're listening, and you're on Spotify, please follow me on Spotify. First off, follow me on YouTube, Jersey Nation. And all these shows come from suggestions from people. So if you ever have a suggestion, text me the suggestion. All of them. I get dozens of them, and we go through them and kind of add things in different seasons and times. I mean, please let me know. Again, 862-312-2026. If you haven't yet, get a subscription to the American Window Cleaner magazine, awcmag.com. It is absolutely amazing. It's made for window cleaners, by window cleaners, and it's everything about window cleaning. So get a subscription. Do it. awcmag.com. Also, 20% discount for Jobber. It is my favorite CRM by far. Yes, I am, I guess, not affiliate. I don't know what they call it. But I literally, for 7 years of this podcast, more than that, I did not recommend any CRMs. I didn't talk about them. I never found one that I liked wholeheartedly. I've done probably half a dozen demos, and none of them really spoke to me. Jobber did. This last one I did is insane. And I get credit for it, I guess, if you click, I think. But anyway, 20% discount. It's all in the links. If you need it, let me know. Anyway, back to it. So we got to keep employees happy. That's the general idea. And I need the place to be fun to work for, not just a place they make money. They're going to make money anywhere. I need it to be a good place to work for, right? Now, if you're in a a winter area, like if you're in Florida, awesome, you're like rocking and rolling right now. But if you're in Wisconsin, you gotta have a possible winter. Now, for that being said, when you hire an employee, if you're newer at hiring, you kind of haven't seen this yet, but you're hiring people who know this is a seasonal job, right? It's a certain type of person, but there's options for winter, slowdown, that type of thing. There's seasonal unemployment. Now, look at your local things. I'm not telling you to do anything, but we always had seasonal unemployment in the winter. And we also ran all of our employees through Express, but a payroll service. And they then could find them other work for the winter or whatever. We had seasonal employment so they could come back. We would give the option to everybody. And if half of them took it, awesome. If the other half didn't, I would find things for them to do. Now, in a Wisconsin, you could plow. We did. You could still do windows. It's very few and far between, but then it's your job to keep them at least semi-busy. And what that means is if they're not taking seasonal unemployment and you don't have work, you kind of need to make it make sense for them. The biggest reason people leave, especially in window cleaning, is that if they don't have not even employment, but if they don't have income, that's the problem. Now, I played around with something that I didn't get too into because I kind of started doing it at the very end, but teachers have this option and they get off in the summer. And what you can do as a teacher is you go, okay, you're going to be off for 3 months. We'll say December, January, February. We'll say 3 months for us. Okay? We want you to have, all year round of 40 hours, your price is $800 a week. What we'll do in the rest of the season is we will take X amount and pay throughout the 3 months. So you're getting a steady check. You can do that. That's a lot of work to go into, but that creates steady work. It creates steady pay, and that's what keeps people happy. If they don't want that, then your job is to kind of find some hours. Now, obviously, if it's, January 7th, it's very hard sometimes to do windows, but there's other things. Not a lot of other things, but maybe you're doing Christmas lights and takedowns in January. So now you're just worried about February. March, you start to pick up, and that's where you're putting your big commercials. So you're really only worried about February. What are we going to do in February? That's your job to figure out. This is when a lot of people get into business and they're like, this is too hard. Like, it's not working in my area. It's not. No, it's hard. You understand? This is not easy. Everybody's like, oh yeah, you just sit on your butt. That's people who don't understand. This is, literally, I've had people who have said, dude, my hose on my pole, like, kinks up. It just makes me want to quit. Like, just be done with all this. It's like, wow, that's what breaks you. Try having not enough money for payroll. What are you going to do when a real problem happens? Like, where are you going to go? Strong business owners can deal with the suck as much as they can deal with the luck. It's absolutely the fact. So you have to kind of deal with how to pay these guys through the winter. That part's like, oh man, you're not giving me the answers. I know. Your area is going to be a little bit different. But our entire goal is if you're out of the truck and you're selling and you're gaining and you're growing, your idea is to continue to make your winter smaller, make the off season smaller, make the big seasons bigger, and then you have less time, right? Stretch things out. How do you make that happen? That's up to you, your company, your area, all that stuff. But the biggest thing is that you need to have a place that people want to work. And if they're just doing nothing for 3 months, it's probably hard for people to pay their bills. Create a place that you would want to work. What would you want to work? What would make this not feel like whatever? We got a couch in here, so afterwards when they're tired, they can sit down, shoot the poo together, and they're on a nice couch. Okay, do that. Make a place that would be fun to work. And if you haven't grasped that concept, let me ask you this. I'm not going to tell you the job, but I'm going to say your first day you show up and I'm the guy you're talking to, and I go, you better not ever be late. Don't do drugs either. You're on my time. You better work hard. Get this done. Like, you can't just, slack off. If I talk to you that way, or those were the big things, which, by the way, all of those things I said are true in every job. But if I told you those things like that, what would you think? You'd be like, oh, dude, this is going to suck. this guy's just going to be on me all the time. So if that part works and that part makes you think a certain way, how does it go the other way? How do you make people not think that? That's the big question. How do you make people go, dude, this place is awesome? I've had people who have worked for me for, at one time we had we had 4 employees that had worked for me over 6 years at one time. And the other ones were a few years. Now you're always hiring and cycling and doing that thing. But I had 4 employees at one time that had worked for me for 6 years. I had to have been doing something right for those guys. I had to have been. I think. But I'm trying to create a place where people want to work. We just happen to clean windows. You're going to get paid like you're going to get paid any job you go. I want this to be fun, a fun environment. How do we make that fun? It all comes down to appreciation. Appreciation is really something that goes farther than just money, just bonuses, just anything. Appreciation is huge. We as men, I know men and women watch this, so you'll understand this either way, but we have to be appreciated. The thing is that the sacrifice you do by just working has to be appreciated. And nothing kills that more than a boss who just doesn't care about you. If you show up and you're like, hey, sir, I've worked here for a while. We've never met. I've worked here 3 years. And he's like, oh, what's your name? And you're like, oh, it's Jersey. And they're like, yeah. I'm not sure what department, but talk to your department head. You're like, I just want to say thank you. You're like, yep, just talk to your department head. If I leave that, I'm going, what the heck? Why am I busting my hump for this guy? He doesn't care. He doesn't care about me. Now the separation's there. Now you're not appreciated. Now you're like, well, what am I doing all this for? But if I make it a point to tell people that they're appreciated, and I make it a point to make sure that everything is stocked and that they're getting goodies and they're getting little perks and they're making it just a fun one, dude, thank you guys, man. That job sucked. You guys killed it. I just want to say thank you, man. We really busted your humps on that one and got it done. And man, we'll try not to have such a sucky thing, but really thank you for all that. If I put that out there, then all of the crap they went through is a little bit better. It's still crap, but it's a little bit better. If that is my idea, I want people to be appreciated. That's where all this other stuff really comes down to. If you're just here and it gets cold and be like, yeah, you got to figure out winters, man. Like, yeah. They're like, well, heck, I'm not coming back in spring. And you're like, man, nobody comes back. Yeah, you suck to work for. Your company sucks. There's nothing extra. They show up for a paycheck. They could go somewhere else and work in an office where it's 72 degrees every day and sunny, and there's no bugs and no rain and no snow, and make the same amount of money all year round. You have to make there be more. You have to make there be something that keeps them happy. And too many of us, when we start, we think it's just the pay. It's not. It's not just the pay. Because they get paid no matter where they work. What you're trying to do is make an awesome environment. This is literally the key to employee retention, is keep them happy. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys listening. Listen, I want to say this shameless plug is literally how I make money. I am really trying to grow my YouTube channel and get some subscribers. So if you are free and you have a second and you want to do something that takes 30 seconds of your time but is absolutely free for you, go ahead and subscribe to that. It's WCR Nation is my YouTube channel. Cool videos on there, putting content out, doing all that stuff. But the real way I make money, obviously I don't make money on YouTube, is by putting orders in. I get paid on every order I put in, and it doesn't cost you any extra. WCR fronts the bill. So let me put it in. It's a high five of virtual awesomeness. My number is 862-312-2026. It's my cell phone. Call me or text me, even better. I'm on the phone all day long. But let me know what you can do, and just click save this cart. It's right above your checkout buttons, and then I can see your cart. Put it in, save cards on file, add free gifts. it's just amazing. Not only am I a pleasure to speak to, but yeah, I can make sure you get free gifts. So many people miss their free gifts, and every order I put in has got a free gift. It's eligible, so pretty nice. Also, get yourself a subscription to the American Window Cleaner magazine, awcmag.com. Get that magazine. It's absolutely amazing. Comes with a sticker sheet every single month. Real paper magazine with sticker sheet to your door for $69. Come on. Invest in your company, invest in the business, invest in the industry. awc.com. Also, 20% discount. I always forget every week I tell you about how much I love Jobber, but not that there's a discount. So if you want Jobber, there's really a benefit to get it. 20% off, try it. Also free demos. Demo everything. Don't just listen to me and what programs I like, demo them all. But anyway, until next week, go out there and of course, make sure to retain your employees. It's cheaper to keep them than to leave them, to keep them than to lose them. Whatever the saying is, but more importantly, go out there and be epic.